Here's a question for you. Could Congressman Ron Paul be President Paul next year? He's the best shot the Republicans have, says my next guest. With me now, Fox News political analyst and my colleague and friend, Juan Williams. Juan, it's a pleasure. Looks like you're in the mountains somewhere, but welcome to Freedom Watch.
Yeah, I'm in Salt Lake City.
All right, great place, a beautiful town. Has Ron Paul succeeded in changing or moving the political debate after 25 years of being in public life during this, his third run for the presidency?
I say this with amazement, but it's becoming more and more clear that we live in the age of Ron Paul, Judge. I mean, you stop and think about it. Who's the father of the Tea Party? It's Ron Paul. I mean, Ron Paul's the guy who began the conversation about debt, deficit, high taxes, government intrusion, and initially he was viewed as an extremist, an outsider in terms of the Republican establishment, somebody to be ignored. He's the guy that's from the start raised questions about U.S. involvement overseas in places like Iraq and Afghanistan.
Right.
He's raised questions about the drug policy. I just heard you talking about that guy getting arrested down in Louisiana and put away for life. He's been saying these things, and the Republican establishment has treated him like he's their loony uncle. Well, now, all of a sudden, guess what? Ron Paul, not only is he the father of the Tea Party that won the majority of the House for Republicans in the 2010 midterms, but he's the father of so much of the discussion about the budget, about the debt ceiling, about taxes right now. This is the age of Ron Paul.
All right. Can he translate his having moved the debate into areas that he has been educating the public about for the past 25 years into votes? Stated differently, were you surprised to see that CNN poll 2 days after the Republican debate that showed him having the best shot of all the Republicans, not just those at the debate where you were one of the questioners, but of all the Republicans against President Obama?
I was stunned. Again, to me, it's like a revelation, and it's just becoming clearer and clearer about this thing. I keep saying age of Ron Paul. I don't mean to bore you, but I mean, wait a minute. You look at that CNN poll and then combine it with this, Judge. You were asking about votes. Remember, what I do for you is I analyze politics.
Right.
And right now, the key inside the Republican Party is who can raise money. And right now, Ron Paul just exploded what he calls his money bomb, $1 million at the end of last week. I mean, so right now, the two leading fundraisers among Republican candidates are Michelle Bachmann, a Tea Party person, head of the Tea Party caucus in Congress, and Ron Paul, the father of the Tea Party.
Okay.
That's who's raising money right now.
What about the social conservatives? What about the people that find Rick Santorum or Mike Huckabee appealing because they think that the government should have firm stands on homosexuality in the military, gay marriage, and issues like that, which sometimes affect the presidency and sometimes don't? Or, stated differently, will the social conservatives in the Republican primaries, these are people who votes, overlook this stuff to vote for this classic small government libertarian, or would they prefer the more traditional big government, Mike Huckabee or Rick Santorum?
Well, let me just say, before I answer you directly, Judge, let me say that last week at the debate, and I think you were watching, Did you see that moment when Ron Paul said he would legalize marijuana, cocaine, and heroin?
Yes, and I saw the audience's reaction.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell the story, because to me, I'm saying I can't believe it. He's got social conservatives in South Carolina applauding and saying, what rational person is going to use heroin if they don't want to use heroin? This is the craziest policy. And not only did he do that, but then remember, he created a space on the stage for Gary Johnson, the former governor of New Mexico, to talk about legalizing marijuana, etc., and not to seem like he's some kind of crackpot. Now, that's in a Republican debate. That's moving the ball forward in terms of Republican policy in a way that nobody else has been able to, Judge.
When do you think the Republican leadership, the old line establishment, which seems to play a major role in choosing whoever the nominee is, will start to take Congressman Paul seriously?
Well, they don't. I mean, if you talk to the old bulls, they see him as a hanger-on. They can't believe, in fact, remember that Mitch McConnell was opposed to Rand Paul and didn't want Rand Paul to win in Kentucky, which is McConnell's home state. Remember that. So you have to understand there's not a lot of love between the two sides here. And when I said that bit to you about the money, the question is, do the big money people start to give some credibility to someone like Ron Paul when they see the CNN poll and see that he actually is outperforming the Palentis, outperforming the Gingriches, outperforming the Romneys, the Mitch Daniels? That's the question, and I don't know the answer to that yet. But if, in terms of moving the argument, moving the conversation on not only drugs but Afghanistan, personal liberty, the debt, that's all Ron Paul.
Got it. Juan, it's a pleasure. Enjoy yourself out in the mountains. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Judge.
Why big government nannies